I'm living in an apartment by myself. The apartment complex is 2 stories, and each floor has 4 apartments. I live in room 104. One day, when I went to go grab some food for dinner, there were several cop cars in front of my building, but I decided to continue on my way to the store. When I was making my way through the aisles, I just happened to run into the lady who lives right next to me, Erica. "Did something happen in your apartment?" she asked me with a dubious look in her eyes. "No, nothing strange has happened to me. What about you?" I responded. She seemed hesitant to answer, but she did start speaking after a few moments. "Actually, the people from the apartments 201 and 101 were killed about the same time last night. They were beheaded, and their eyes were gouged out. The girl from room 102 said that she heard what sounded like a phone ringing at about 11 p.m. It stopped after a while, and she thought she heard someone say something from room 201, then a bit later from room 101. She couldn't make it out, but it sounded like it was only 3 syllables. And then somebody started screaming. She started to worry that she might be next. She said she's staying inside today to be safe. I can't say I blame her. She's so young and lives by herself. It'd be stupid to go out with stuff like this going on. I think I'll be fine though. I've got a godan in karate. But let me know if you need anything. We're neighbors after all." Yeah, thanks," I said, unsure what to think of the situation. She finished up her shopping before I did, and I continued walking around the store looking for something to eat. Once I got what I wanted, I went home. But what the hell? How could something like that happen in my apartment all of a sudden? I went to bed early last night and didn't notice anything. But just in case, I'm staying up late tonight. If anything happens, I'll be the first to know. It's probably just a coincidence, right? That their phones rang at about the same time, and the 3 syllables that girl heard through the walls. It's creepy, I'll give it that. If anything happens to Erica and her husband, I'm gonna be pretty scared. I continued eating my dinner, but I couldn't get rid of these thoughts. I opened a magazine to pass the time. Before I realized it was already 11. I decided to take my futon out of the closet and give it 30 minutes. If nothing happens before then, I'm going to sleep. 10 minutes later, and I was ready to sleep. Just as I was about ready to lay down, my eyes flew open when I heard something I desperately didn't want to hear. It was coming from 103. I strained my ears and I could barely make out other phones ringing. It seemed to be coming from 202 and 203. I could only assume that a phone was ringing in 102 as well. What the hell? How can phones be in 4 separate apartments start ringing at the exact same time? At that thought, one of the phones above me stopped ringing. Maybe they picked it up not knowing what was going on. Not that I know much more, because I could just barely hear a voice through my ceiling. I definitely heard what sounded like 3 syllables. Maybe. It was from the room upstairs, so I couldn't really make it out. But I'm pretty sure it was 3 syllables. But why does it sound like somebody's mumbling? I had been somewhat doubtful of what Erica told me, but after I heard the person above me pick up the phone, I started to get scared. Everything she talked about was happening. But wait, How are Erica and her family doing? Their phone is still ringing. I assume they're not picking it up to be safe. That's probably the best choice. I was almost certain that the people upstairs were dead, but the phones from 102 and 103 were still ringing. I decided to walk next door to 103 to see what was going on. I put my shoes on and went outside. I knocked on their door and waited. I could still hear their phone through the door. I prayed and hoped they didn't pick it up. As I stood there, thoughts racing, I opened their door. "Don't pick up the phone!" I screamed. But it was too late. Erica, unable to withstand the fear, picked up the phone. She put the phone to her ear, and after a few moments she spoke 3 syllables. Ha, da, yo. They didn't make sense to me. It sounded like gibberish, but I sensed that they had some deeper meaning. I got chills from standing there. And what about the girl in 102? Was she in there? Shit, her phone is still ringing. If she picks it up, she'll probably... As soon as I started to step towards her door, the phone stopped ringing. I heard it again. Ha, da, yo. Shit, it's all over. And then the phone started ringing in my apartment. Is the entire building being targeted? Fine. Then I'm not gonna pick it up. I'm gonna go check on the girl in 102. I walked over to her door and I kicked it in. But she was perfectly safe. After her phone started ringing, she hid in a corner of the room. I barely breathed a sigh of relief until I remembered Erica. I ran back over to her apartment. I opened the door, only to find something even more surprising. She was also safe. She was shaking, also huddled up in a corner. What the heck is going on here? Why were the 2 who answered their phones spared? Is this some sort of prank? No, that can't be it. The people on 101 and 201 were both beheaded and had their eyes gouged out. Wait, did the people in 101 and 102 pick up their phones? What if you aren't killed after you pick up your phone? What if you're killed for not picking up your phone? I got chills again. I still haven't picked up my phone, but it's still ringing. Shit! I ran as fast as I could back to my own apartment. Oh, thank God it's still ringing. If I pick it up, I'm saved. I'm saved. I'm safe. I grabbed my phone and put it to my ear. But the 3 syllables I heard were not the ones I expected. You're too late. I then heard a knocking from my door.